In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the bulb in a Renault switch. So this is from my 2003 Renault Velsatis, but these switches are used in many Renaults from the early noughties and of course Dacia models as well later on. And the process I'm going to show you here is also the same for other switches in the car, such as the cruise control switch and other various switches that you might find around the car. Now, the bulb that you'll need is very small. I don't know the official name for it. I don't think it has a code, but it's a miniature bulb and it's about 3mm. So you can find them on eBay, and I can add a link in the video where you can find these bulbs. Now, this module, as you can see, is two switches together, but I'm going to be changing the bulb in this one here. Right, so the first thing you need to do is remove this top cap here. Now, what I'd normally recommend is just using your fingernail just to peel under this edge here, which takes it off this little pin here, which is what it rotates around. But as you can see, I can't get to the inside. So I'm going to need a screwdriver of some sort just to try and angle in there and try and remove, there we go, the cap. Now you can see the switch here. There is your bulb, obviously. It's got a little blue hat on. So depending on the lighting color that your car has, it might have a different cap on it. So my lighting is white, and these blue caps here sort of give a much whiter light, takes away the sort of yellowing of the bulb. All right, the next thing to do to be able to get to the bulb is to remove this black housing here from the actual switch or the electronics here. And the way to do that is to get a screwdriver underneath these tabs here, where you can see these little nodules are, which sort of holds this in place. And you need to do that in all four places so that you can separate it. All right, so it's a bit difficult because as you undo one, it naturally wants to go back in. So let's see if I can do this. So we'll try that again. There we go. So that one's definitely separated, but as you can see, it was trying to go back in, but we'll see if I can recover it. There we go. Right, so yeah, a bit tricky, but as you can see, the little nodules now are outside of the black housing. And then I need to do the same on this side without this clicking back in. Go, and then just the last one. There we go. Right, so I can put this to one side, and now I need to remind myself which bulb I'm changing. So there's no wrong way of putting this round because it's got a feature which locates it, as you can see here. So you can't put this the wrong way around. So yeah, as you can see, the little cutout here aligns with this prong here. Right, so this bulb. So I'm going to take the hat off while I remember very, very carefully, because it's a little tiny rubber thing, which is slightly split, but it's okay. I'll just feed it back on later. This bulb is sort of overheated and it's caused it to glue itself on, but I'll be able to make the most of it. Okay, so this is the bulb. As you can see, it's in this little bulb housing here. And essentially what I need to do is I need to separate this bulb housing, this little brown block here, from the two prongs that go into the switch. Now this is where you'll need your pliers and screwdrivers. So you can see these two metal tabs here. So first thing I'm going to do is just try and see. I have changed this bulb before, so I'm gonna see if this comes off. So I'm just going to gently rock it back and forth, because you don't want to pull on it because it will pull out the metal prongs out of the switch. At that point, you're a bit stuffed. So I'm just going to try and push the tabs down with a screwdriver, see if they'll feed out. So there you go. So maybe that's a better approach actually, just to get a small screwdriver on its side through the slot. There we go. So you can see these little metal tabs here, and that's what goes into the little grooves in the bulb holder. Right, so now I can take my old bulb out. This is super fiddly, as you can see. So the way to do that is that there's two wires coming off the bulb, which you can see on the new one here. And they are bent out the back of the bulb and then into the grooves, and that's where they make contact with those little blades. So I just need to feed those two wires from the side underneath the bulb. There you go. And then I should be able to just pull that through. There you go. And there's the old bulb. Right, because I'm using a filament bulb, I don't have to worry about polarity, so it doesn't matter which direction I put these through, but there's two holes, hopefully you can see, on the bottom of that. So I just need to thread each of those metal wires into that, if I can get them both in there. Okay, and then just pull the bulb all the way down. So you might find, like I did, that the new bulb is actually longer than the original one that I removed. But it doesn't really matter because the light only points upwards through the switch. So as long as you've got that cap on, it doesn't really matter about the bleed. So then you need to take these prongs and you need to thread them into the side slot here and just pull them quite taut, like that. And then what I would actually do is I would put this back on the switch first before trimming the wires. So you need to thread those two little blades into those two slots there. So there. All right, so as you can see, I'm having a little trouble getting that second one in, so I think it's just because it's slightly bent. So I'm just going to pull it out, position it where I want it to go, and then there you go, I can push it in now. There you go, so that's the new bulb on. So now I can trim these. Okay, so with the snips, I'm just going to trim those wires like that. My snips are incredibly blunt. Okay. Right, so that is the bulb in and secure. Just make sure it's as secure as it can be. So now I can put the cap back on it. So this is a little mullered because I think the other one had gotten fused. So I mean, I could just put a bit of glue on it, make sure it stays on there, which is what I'm going to do, I think. Just put a little bit of glue. Just the tiniest drop. That is now on. So now I can just push it back together, super easy. So like I said, this is located, so you can't put it on the wrong way. You know, if I try and put it on now, it won't go on. So you can see a slot here, lines with those prongs, and then I can just click, and that is on. And then just need to try and get it on the inside. And then I'll just check it works in the car now. There you go, you can now see that the rear right bulb works where it didn't before.